Hiya. So hopefully I can give you some motivation because you're probably studying for your mock exams and that's really hard time, but let's talk about it. It's a little bit of a story, right? So I had a argument on Twitter just yesterday and I was arguing with some people who were really sure that learning and memory were like the same thing, and these were teachers and they were arguing that this is the best way to learn based on this kind of evidence. They were arguing that learning is defined as putting things in your long-term memory, right? Now I'll explain why I'm in this kind of panda backdrop in a minute later on, but for now just see it as being a silly place for me to be. Right? So that's what you're up against, right? You're up against actual teachers who are going to put memory work into your lessons because they think that's the best way to learn. And I'm sorry if that's what your lessons are like. I'm sorry if you feel like your study is like that. It's just dull. Okay, right. And I watched a brilliant video the other day, and I've put this in the description, by the Young Filmmaker, he's called. And the video's called something like "Why I Wish I Didn't Get Grade 9s." Now, it's not a gloating video about, "Oh, look at me, I got these amazing grades." It's actually just like, I wish I hadn't studied so hard. I wish I hadn't worried about this memory, just forcing myself to memorize these things. It's just a kind of spoken word poem. It's excellent, go check it out. But in my experience, right, the way to learn new things and actually the way to memorize things is to work at a high taxonomy. So I've talked a lot in my videos about taxonomy, so working through the levels from remember, explain, apply, analyze, evaluate and create. And the more you work at the higher levels, actually the more you memorize as well. So it works really, really well to actually get your memory sorted if you work through that taxonomy. And what I say, and what I was arguing with these guys on Twitter, was that actually the more you do experiments in your lessons, the more you actually do practicals, the more you get kids up out of their seats, the more you get them involved in doing science, the more they're going to memorize anyway, and that's useful for the exams anyway. And besides that, they're going to love it, they're going to find it more interesting. Now, there's another video linked up below as well that I watched shortly after. It's a much higher production value. Again, it's very, very poetic. It's a wonderful video, Prince BA. But I kind of disagree with something in it because it's talking about what is school for. That's the name of the video, what is school for? And he talks about, well, why on earth are we teaching kids quadratics and Pythag when we could be teaching them tax returns and bank loans? Now for me it's pretty obvious why you ought to be teaching kids higher order math skills, and he goes on later on in the video to talk about this kid could be the next Einstein if he was nurtured properly. Well, I would have thought Einstein wouldn't have got very far if he'd never learned Pythagoras and quadratics in favour of bank loans. So in any case, you've got to watch out for these things, right? But he does talk, Prince BA, about the Finnish education system, and Finland is often held up as being the best education system in the world, and they do kind of projecty kind of, and the kids take control of their own education in a really, really kind of deep and meaningful way to them. And each kid becomes their own kind of student, their own kind of person. So follow that, and just remember when you're actually studying, you're studying to make yourself you and yourself in the future. And hopefully your school gives you enough opportunity to do those experiments, do those projects, get your teeth sunk into them, because they will develop your skills in a way that just memorizing stuff will never ever do. Right, but remember this as well, right? Your teachers at your school, they mean well. These teachers, they mean well. They've actually done a lot of reading, a lot of thinking about what they think is best for you in the classroom. So follow them and go with them on that journey. Don't think that I'm saying any teachers are really, really bad because they want to focus on memory and recall. Cool. There is a lot of that in the new GCSEs and A-levels, and I think you're a bit unlucky that those are the ones you're doing, right? But anyway, I think it's about doing science in your lessons, and here's why you should be wanting to do science, and this is why I'm here with the pandas in the background. Well, it's my daughter's first birthday later on, and we're having a panda party, so I've set this thing up so we can all like wear panda masks and pretend to be pandas. And no, I'm not going to live stream that, okay? So don't ask. But the reason why you should want to do science, the reason why you should want to be spending your Sunday studying for your mock exams, if that's what you're doing, is because you want to save the pandas. You want to save the pandas. You want to help out with these great causes that there are around the world. And maybe I'd be a bit more comfortable if I was in a gorilla habitat, but you should want to save the pandas. Right, I'm just going to have a really quick look at the chat. I hope that was useful. I hope that helps you be a bit more motivated to study for these mock exams or study for the real things. It's great, thanks a lot for joining me on this random little live feed on a Sunday. Matrix 1, I've already got a video that goes all the required practicals, so find that in my live. There's a live feed playlist, and one of the things, if you're doing mock exams, studying mock exams, then a really useful thing is to go through the live feed playlist that I've got, for the real exams, I did loads of live feeds where I looked at some specific things. Alright, hi Nav Turbo, and I'll see you all later. Happy studying, keep the end game in mind. Why do you want to do science? Because you want to be part of this, okay? Because you want this to be who you are, to help out with these great causes. All right, see you later.